Hi, welcome back to my backyard classroom. Last time I was back here we were talking about clouds and weather and what created or creates clouds. Why do they happen? And we talked about how temperature and moist air and a cooling process has something to do with it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about just weather in general and how temperature affects weather. If you think about rain, the temperature of the air is what causes evaporation to take place, and then so when the air warms up, the water will evaporate and go up into the sky, and then once it gets up in the sky, there's a little bit of a cooling process, and then condensation happens, so the water turns from a gas back into a liquid again, and that's why water falls from the sky sometimes, because water has evaporated and then the air cooled and then it turned back into water and it dropped down to earth again. And I'm noticing today it's quite a windy day, and you could ask, well, what is creating all this wind right now? The trees are blowing. I remember when I was a kid, I always thought it was trees that made wind, and it's not trees that make wind. You just see the effects of the wind with the trees. The wind makes the trees sway back and forth. But nature is such a cool thing, because nature is always trying to make everything balance out. So there's something in the air, it's called air pressure. And air pressure is actually controlled by temperature. And what happens is sometimes you have some high pressure and some low pressure. And wind is caused when nature is trying to balance that out. So the high pressure moves over to the low pressure, trying to balance things out. And that's what creates the wind. Okay, so temperature helps us, creates rain, and it also creates wind. Okay, isn't that cool? So temperature is a really important thing. So I know that especially during this time where people are taking their own temperature, their body temperature, and you use a thermometer to do that. And one of the thermometers that most of you would use is a digital thermometer. Well, there's so many different kinds, and back in the day when I was a kid, there was no such thing as digital, and our thermometers looked more like this. Okay, it was a glass tube, and it had something called mercury in the bottom. And then as mercury heats up, it expands. When things get warm, they get bigger, and it would move up the little path in the glass tube over here, and that would indicate the temperature. So this is a type of weather thermometer, and you can see it's just a dial that moves back and forth. Some of you may have this in your yard. This is also another type of weather thermometer, and this one is a digital one, so the numbers, they just change. It's kind of magic to me. I'm not sure how that works. And then this one over here is a thermometer that uses alcohol, which is a substance that reacts very quickly to temperature. Okay, so this red ball down here has alcohol in it, and then as it gets warmer, it gets bigger, so it moves up the little tube, okay, indicating the temperature. And we measure our temperature in Fahrenheit or Celsius. Okay, over here in the United States we use Fahrenheit. All right, so I thought today it might be fun for us to try and make our own thermometers. And so we do need a few items in order to do that. You need a clear bottle, and this over here is just a water bottle, but you can use any clear bottle. And that one's plastic, it doesn't matter. We'll need some water. All right, and this over here is rubbing alcohol, and a clear straw, some Play-Doh or some kind of putty, and you'll see why we need this later. And then this over here is food coloring, and this just helps you to be able to see the liquid. Otherwise it'd be hard to see if it was clear. So right now I already put a quarter of a cup of water in my little measuring cup over here, and you need to add the same amount of rubbing alcohol, another 1/4 of a cup. So I'm going to add it in here, so that will make it up to 1/2 of a cup. Oh, it smells really bad. Alcohol evaporates very quickly. Okay, we talked about evaporation, so when it gets warm, just a little bit warm, it evaporates much faster than water. Alright, so I think I'm going to add my food coloring in here, and I had purple food coloring. Usually thermometers are red, but I think any color would work. This is kind of a gel. Some of you may have the liquid type, which I think is a little bit better, but I couldn't find any of that. So I'm going to stir it up. You see, as I stir, the liquid is turning purple, and that's going to make it nice and easy for us to see. And I'll put it into a bottle over here. So let's keep stirring. See, this is the reason why I like the liquid kind better, because the gel takes a long time to dissolve. Alright, I think that's good enough though. It may dissolve some more over time. Okay, so now, very carefully, I'm going to take my purple mixture of water and rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to carefully pour it into my bottle. You may need a parent or an adult to help you with this part if you have trouble pouring things in bottles. I know I used to be kind of messy when I was a kid. It would have been all over the table by now. Alright, so I have this clear straw, and this is going to be like the tube that the liquid will move up. Okay, I'm going to stick my clear straw down in my liquid. Okay, so before I do that, I'm going to get my Play-Doh ready though. So an important thing to do is to create a airtight seal around the straw. Okay, airtight means no air can get in or out. And I'll explain to you why that is important in a minute. Okay, so I'm not going to cover the top of my straw. I'm going to make an airtight seal around the straw. And when I put the straw in the liquid, it's important that I do not allow it to touch the bottom of the container, because you want the liquid to be able to move up, and if you let it touch the bottom, it might get trapped in there. Oh my goodness, this looks like it's already working over here. Let me try and... Okay, so I'm going to put this in here. Now, the way this thermometer works is, I already mentioned that when things get warmer, let me make sure I get an airtight seal quickly. When things get warm, they expand, or they get bigger. So, with this bottle, the thing that I'm going to see if I can make it get warm is the air up over here. So, because I have an airtight seal on the top, when the air expands or gets bigger, it can't go out around there. It has to come, instead it pushes down on the liquid, and it pushes or forces the liquid up the straw. So let's see if I can make, I'm just going to use my hands. I'm going to see, I can use some friction, make my hands warm, and then I'm going to just hold them around my bottle. And let's see, I go like this. So it might be a little bit of a surprise because, oh my goodness, look what's happening. You see how the liquid is moving up the straw just like a thermometer? That is so cool. Inside the bottle is being heated, getting warmer because of my hands, and because it's getting warmer, it's expanding, and it can't come up through here because I've made an airtight seal. So instead it's pushing down on the liquid and forcing the liquid to move up the straw. Alright, isn't that the coolest thing? So let's see, I'm going to take my hands away and let's see. Now the air is getting cooler inside the bottle, and you see how the liquid is moving down the straw. Yes. So that's how a thermometer works. As things heat up, they expand and get larger, take up more space. So the liquid will move up. All right, so I hope that you all get a chance to make your own thermometer at home this week. I really enjoyed, some of you sent me some pictures and videos of your cloud in a jar experiments, and I really enjoyed seeing those, so thank you for sharing those with me. Anyway, you guys keep working hard, and enjoy the great weather outside. And while you're outside, maybe you can learn a little bit more about the weather too. All right, I'll see you all again.